Well, it seems the whole controversy over Sweet Baby Inc. has really started moving. It's hitting mainstream news articles now. We're seeing a few of them pop up here and there. The National Post up here in Canada, they're one of the more major outlets that's there that I've seen lots of stories come out of, but they tend to take one side of the coin, the other side of the coin. They're not defending Sweet Baby Inc., but at the same time, they don't really go into what really perpetuate going forward with this situation over Sweet Baby Inc. and the narrative design that is being pushed in our video games. So this is the National Post. Jamie Sarnoak, the Montreal company that has turned your video games woke. We all know Norse gods are Scandinavian, not African. Don't force it. And this has been what's been going on with the narrative design teams of companies like Sweet Baby Inc. Before we get into the article, before I show you everything that we've got here, please do me a favor, subscribe to the channel. If you subscribe to the channel, some gamer will beat their next level. That's about all I can give you. Video games are a distraction of choice for many people, offering a temporary escape hatched at the cost of living challenges, transgender bathroom debates, or United States election discourse. Naturally, this made games a ripe target for opportunistic firms to shove their social politics. This has been the ongoing battle for gamers and the industry. We have seen this where the politics, it's got to be in everything, and that's not the case. A lot of gamers like myself want to be able to play a game, lose ourselves to the game, and just have a good time and not be lectured on what we're doing wrong with our lives or how we can do better with our lives. Montreal-based firm does everything from game writing to diversity consulting. You have to come across its work to ever played God of War Ragnarok, a 2022 release of the for the PlayStation console, which follows the Greek god Kratos as he navigates the world of Norse mythology. Among the characters is the Norse god Angerborda, who the game depicts as black. In an interview with the industry publication Sweet Baby Inc., co-founder Kim Belair explained her reasoning for the race swap. For me, looking at a black character in a game where she feels the same way, it will absolutely be seen and resonated with by people of color and black girls who identify with Angerboda, she said. It's certainly one way to approach story writing if historical accuracy and respect of source material isn't an issue. Well, that's the thing. Norse mythology, prominently Scandinavian in culture, it's their mythology. At this point, everyone that talks about how cultural appropriation is not a real thing, well, this is where literally the culture is being appropriated and changed. And that's not what people want. People want to see their culture celebrated. And when you turn around and do this race swap like they're talking in this article, that culture is nothing more than a shoehorn of this political nightmare. For a lot of people that play these games, a degree of realism remains important even in fiction, and forced immersion breaking diversity is a knowing reminder that today's politics can't be escaped. Keep in mind with the gaming industry worth $184 billion annually, where they are also looking at more than $300 billion being traded within the game industry, far larger than film and music, which are worth under $30 billion each. So the impact of diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI, is going to be widely felt. And this is the thing. This is what I've been saying. It's not going anywhere. This wokeness into video games, it's being pushed by government regulation, by government money, by everything out there, and it's just being pushed and being shoved down everyone's throats. And it's because everyone wants a chunk of this money. There is so much money flowing in the game industry right now. It's absolutely horrific to see that it has to go down this path. Sweet Baby's consultations can be felt in Assassin's Creed Valhalla and Alan Wake 2, as well as a number of titles in superhero game Suicide Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, Marvel's Spider-Man 2, Gotham Knights, and upcoming Marvel's Wolverine. And that Marvel's Wolverine game, I believe there was some leaks on that as well. Community frustrations have followed. On the online game store Steam, more than 300,000 users have followed a list called Sweet Baby Inc. Detected to avoid any game that shows traces of the company's influence. A community of the exact same exists in Discords where sleuths vent their frustrations about the state of the game industry and search for more titles to add to the no-go list. And this is pretty much what it is. There's a lot of people out there, we're seeing how things are going down the line, down the chain of things for stuff like Sweet Baby Inc. Detected. And the DEI detected stuff, it's coming to a bubble. It's coming up, and it's become so massively influential at this point. People are saying no more. It's being shoehorned everywhere. The Spanish version of Spider-Man 2 reportedly uses gender-neutral grammar, which, like gender-neutral French, is an activist project that isn't recognized by most day-to-day speakers. And also in those other languages, they don't translate. When you try, the whole Latin X thing doesn't translate well. It does, like, you sit there and go, well, what do I say? What do I call this in their native tongue? It's being appropriated away from the native tongue and then being forced down it. That's why these things are such backlash against right now. Recent weeks have seen mainstream gaming media come to the defense of Sweet Baby to no avail. Wild characterized the firm as a victim of irrational culture warfare, the target of two online racists. A report from Kotaku took a similar tone, dismissing concerns that identity politics in games feel suffocating to some. Interviews with staff downplayed the company's role in pushing DEI. That would make sense if Sweet Baby for years hadn't marketed itself as political correction service for gamers. They market themselves as sensitivity readers. They terrify game companies into shoehorning themselves into the games. That is a direct quote from Sweet Baby Inc. They used terrify. If they couldn't get their way, they would sit there and say, well, you know what, if we don't get our way, this is what's going to happen. They pretty much are blackmailing the entire development community for the games industry, and it's absolutely downright diabolical at this point. It's so disheartening to see. We cater to them the same way that they cater to a picky baby. We feed them the same thing that we know they love and keep on feeding it. We're creating an entire nation of picky babies. And they make us scared to deviate from what we actually want to do, just in case these picky babies don't want to play our games, she said. Well, growing up, I was always told, you know what, you're not going to like it unless you try it. Well, I've tried the whole diversity, the whole inclusion thing with these games. And when they're shoehorned in front of me and I'm told that if I don't like the game, I am now an ism, a bigot, I'm being sexist, all these other things, I don't like that. So why in the world would I want to do this? I don't like this. I tried it and I was told I have to take it. Well, here's the little thing. I don't have to take it. I don't need this in my life. And that's why Sweet Baby Inc. Detected exists. None of us want these games in our lives anymore. And we put them on the list and we block them. We shelve it. We put it on there and shelve it and forget about it. We forget that these games are going to even exist. And by calling all the gamers picky babies, that doesn't make a strong case for the sense. We tried it. We don't like it. We don't want it. We cannot continue to try and create art under a system that is going to bar innovation for fear of picky baby throwing a tantrum. Art is subjective to the user that is perceiving it. What I may like as art, you necessarily won't like as art. It's all perceived differently. And this is the whole idea where everything is political. There's some days where the politics doesn't exist. You don't want to care about the politics. There's not a reason for it. Sweet Baby alone isn't promoting DEI in games, so it certainly can't be blamed for the built-in politics. No, what happened with Sweet Baby Inc. was they went after the Steam group. One of their employees said it was a harassment group, and they targeted the group for deletion, for cancellation. And because there's over 300,000 gamers that had joined up with that, and plenty more YouTube creators, gamers alike, have sat there and went, no, they can exist. All they're doing is making a list of your resume of games that you have worked on and saying, no more. We don't want this. They're not directing targets at you. Don't go out there and start directing traffic. We just don't want to play these games, and we just want them shelved. We want them far away from the rest of us, where they belong, away from our gaming lists, away from our Steam gaming lists. World of Warcraft and Diablo developer Blizzard creation character screens have swapped male and female options for gender-neutral body type 1 and body type 2, while Bethesda brought pronoun choices in last year's Starfield. Some characters casts increasingly have the perfect diverse palette of a Netflix assemble. And certain trendy, diverse female leads are written to be so strong and independent that they just end up sounding rude and annoying. We know better than you. Listen to us, eat your food, and quit being a baby about it, because you sitting here telling us, criticizing us. No, you're not allowed to do that. And that's exactly what this is. It's very discerning. He goes into a little bit more about the gods there, the tagline at the beginning. When it comes to video games, I want to play a game and lose myself in it. I don't want to have to sit there and worry about being called or named called or whatever like that. When I spoke about Baldur's Gate 3, the insults that I get about the game is absolutely not nice people. But I sit here and I take it and I laugh it off and I go, whatever, that's your opinion. That's fine. I'm going to move on. I'm going to continue growing. I'm going to make videos. Anyway, I'm your proud Canadian Phoenix, Cindershadow. I'm signing off here. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I thought this was a pretty decent article, even though they didn't really go into how Sweet Baby Inc. employs targeting the group, but at least it's something that's showing a little bit more of what's going on in the games industry. Have yourselves a great day.